This is Dustin Headley, and I work with Ball State University. This is for Design Communication Media. This tutorial will cover the basic structure of Photoshop, covering where each of the commands are, how to adjust commands, and how to work with the basics of layers. Now, first off, I have opened up my own document, as you can see here. One of the first things that I've adjusted that each of you may want to adjust is Photoshop by default wants to have open documents as tabs. Now, if you go into the Edit Preferences tab in the interface, you can adjust this. You can turn this off if you don't like that feature. I prefer to have this open because sometimes you're going to have situations where you're going to want to take information, and you're going to drag it into another layer. You can see here, I can see where I've just taken that particular color swatch and taken it. And that makes this a little bit easier to work with. Now, like I said, this is going to cover the basic structure of Photoshop and the layout of the tools and how they get organized. The first thing I'm going to cover is this toolbar over here. This is going to be your basic, all the tools that you're going to be using to do this project, do any kind of project, can be found here if you're not interested in using the shortcut keys initially. Now, you have, starting at the top, the move command. This is probably the most common tool you're going to be using. It's also the homing tool for pretty much all of the, once you're done with the command, you usually hit D to get to the move command, and that enables a lot of, basically it just makes things a little bit easier. Now, at the top of this, you have the selection tools, and I'll go into those another time. You also have the sort of editing tools, paintbrush, paint bucket, erasing tools. There's also, once you get a little bit sort of, explore this a little bit more, the history brush, things like that. Now, and then you have some of these other things where you can start to draw vector graphics and through your document when you're zoomed in. And then you can have the magnifying glass. Now, at the bottom of this, there's also the color swatches that are active on the system. Now, whatever this is whatever the active color, if you were going to take this paintbrush and sort of color this in, that's the color that it's painting. Go ahead and do that. Now, if you can come in here and edit this, you can also pick the colors by coming in here, and you can adjust the colors either by changing this, setting values that you know, or you can use the dropper tool and select the color in your document or outside your document. Okay. Now that pretty much covers this toolbar. Now, if you have, once you have selected a tool, I'm just going to select the Magic Wand tool. When you want to change the settings for that particular tool, you'll find that up at the top. Now, this particular tool has tolerance levels, has contiguous settings, anti-aliasing, sampling all layers. There's a lot of these things I would encourage you to explore just to find out what they do and find out what effects they can have on your document. And what you're going to want to do for, just in terms of looking at how this particular thing works. Now we have this option right here. We have set the tool, set the tolerance. And if you look, and I'll have this to be contiguous, so to tell you everything is that color in that area. If I turn off this particular setting, and then I click in the same area, it will select everything that is that color, whether or not it's connected to that initial volume or not. And this is particularly useful if you get started to do selections of particular areas. If you're not wanting something, if you're wanting something that everything connects, you hold the Shift key, you can quickly create volumes here. Now, and then again, like you'll find all the different tool settings are here. So I want my brush stroke to be bigger. I want the brush stroke to be huge. Things like that. This is going to be where you're going to look at if you need to change the settings on your tool. So the other place over here you have is your toolbar. Now this is for more global adjustments. Again, you'll see the colors here. The same swatch up here is up here. You can make adjustments. You can set swatches. You can also set styles. You're going to have to explore that to see what's appropriate. Then you're going to also have the settings for your layers. Now this is sort of how your document is organized. Layers is similar to the way trace paper works in Photoshop, when you're doing hand graphics. You have a layer. When you do an overlay, it's like a trace overlay, and you can do this. Basically, you can take that layer of trace, take it off, put it back on, and as you see fit. And then when you're drawing on that particular layer of trace, you're not doing anything to the layers underneath it or above it. You are drawing on that piece of paper. All right? So is basically where you're going to be, or how you're going to be organizing your document when things need to be on top of one another or underneath